Alright, so this is going to be a kind of redo on my bike review on the Tenere. And I filmed it once and the audio was kind of crap. It kept clipping, so kind of unusable. But that was at 4,000 miles on stock suspension. And now I'm at about 5,000 miles, with 1,000 of it being on, actually probably less than 1,000 of it being on the rallyraid. And I'm gonna have to leave my visor cracked, so hopefully the audio comes out on this one. Yeah, after filming that video the first time, or this video the first time, and then talking to my brother a little bit about more stuff that I would probably do to this bike, we just kind of got on the topic of just this bike being such a good platform just from the start, and then anything you do to it afterwards just makes it that much better. At first, the stock suspension was fine. I could put up with it, and it was pretty difficult to come up with, I guess, a strong enough want or need to upgrade the suspension and the route I wanted to go with it. But then, as soon as I got onto that topic, it just started piling up, and the limitations of that suspension just became more and more apparent and weren't giving me the performance I was looking for. So yeah, now we're sitting on the rallyraid suspension, and that's the adventure spring, or the adventure rear shock, and the open cartridge front forks, which surprisingly I've still bottomed out, but in those instances it kind of made sense because they were not the most favorable. So the first time I did it, it was that normal jump that I do, and yeah, it just came down a little heavy on the front end. And then that's when I got the note to kind of give it some gas kind of midair to kind of rotate the bike to the back wheel a little bit. So the second time I bottomed it out was on that little BMX track at the backup spot. And I went over one bump, and then another one, and then the last one, which I decided to jump. However, the last bit of it was dipped down, so it landed front wheel first again. So it definitely doesn't like coming down heavy on the front. It's still not enough, I guess. Not enough compression, maybe. But in those instances, it's, I wouldn't say infrequent, it's just lack of ability, or maybe bad decision to like jump that kind of stuff without knowing the other side, or preparing for it, I guess. That aside, the suspension is still great. It's doing what I want. And I think I've said it a couple times, but I just feel so comfortable on this bike. And Like, it's more comfortable than on my 500, and I guess that's partially because I'm not trying to, I guess, push myself too hard. Like, I'm probably riding that 80% of my capabilities that I ride on this bike, and taking that to the KTM, which probably doesn't make the most sense, because I could probably push that bike harder. Like, the difference between this 80% and the 80% on the KTM are just so different that I'm not using that bike probably the way I should. When it comes to my off-road U-turns, whether that's just on flat ground or uphill, downhill kind of stuff, yeah, that's on me. I make it a lot harder than it probably is. Again, it's partially just because I'm not exactly putting in the time to practice. And then riding within my limitations, and then because I'm riding alone, probably dropping it down just a little bit more. But I have the Tusk 2-track tires on here. And they're working great, especially for the price. I got no problem with it. There's plenty of traction, both on and off-road, on-road and off-road. The rear wheel is pretty good. The front is good. I would be curious to experience maybe something else on the front, maybe front and back, just to try out a new set of something and see what it's like. The one thing it's lacking, and maybe the 2025 will solve that, cruise control. Granted, I'm okay with not having cruise control, because literally anytime I turn it on, I have to turn it off because of traffic or something just in the way where I can't keep a steady pace. It's like the same thing with me and red lights. Like, there is a high chance I will hit a red light, and I don't even have to be driving. If I'm in the car with someone, we're hitting reds and we're gonna be pretty slow. So, yeah, same thing with cruise control. It's just hard for me to use. I gotta get out of, like, Orange County to be able to use it. But yeah, I bought this bike used. It had like 6,700 miles on it. It came with the stock Pirellis. I think maybe put 1,000 miles on them, if that. And I was pretty happy to get rid of them. They were not that great, especially for my use case. While I do a lot of road and highway stuff, I'm willing to sacrifice some of that road performance to get dirt performance. I want this thing to be as capable as I can get it in the dirt and just be fine on the road. I don't need to like drag knee or anything on the street. That's not necessarily what I'm looking for. And even with all that, like, this bike still does great on the road. And I think I mentioned it in my suspension video, where I mentioned it in my suspension video to where I'm still on the off-road settings that I had, and I don't have any problems with it. And kind of with getting that high level of off-road capability, I'm still considering, kind of in the back of my mind, if I want to do like a 140 rear. That way I can open up some of the options and tires and maybe do something even a little bit more aggressive. But still undecided on that. I haven't seen anything to where it's like, yeah, that's the route I should go. No way, is this open? Hold on a second. Last time I was over here, this had a sign in front of it and road blocked. Granted, it's paved now, so yeah, I think they got tired of all the dust being kicked up. Kind of unfortunate, because this was a good spot to get some slides in. But yeah, I think it was partially because I picked up the suspension that I was considering wheels, just to get a little bit more heavy duty wheels. And then yeah, with that 140 being an option. Wow, they even blocked off this hill. That's crazy. Yeah, that used to be open. They put huge boulders in front of it. As far as all the modifications I've done, obviously bark busters, fake Puig windscreen that I bought on Amazon and just put some epoxy to kind of stiffen it up and make sure it didn't come loose. And yeah, Scott steering stabilizer, I put that on fairly early on. I think not long after the tires. And I think that maybe not the most necessary purchase because this bike is so stable. But there's been a couple times where, like, I've gone into some soft sand and who knows, maybe it could have just slowed it down just enough for me to catch the bike. I haven't done too many modifications to this bike, the biggest one just being that suspension. and a couple protection accessories. But it's like, this bike doesn't need all that much. Yeah, the couple things left that I want for this bike, I think I'll probably end up getting the Camel one finger clutch. I had that on my KTM 890R and made it pretty nice. That clutch had such a hard pull to it, it's kind of crazy. And this one's not too bad. I can pretty much do one finger, middle finger kind of clutch. Oh, road dips down. Nice. Again, U-turns. Not my strong suit. I probably just need to stand up and make the goddamn turn. But yeah, overall I am very happy with this bike. Ah, shit. Let me back up. I didn't even finish what I was saying. I got too distracted by U-turns. Yeah, one finger clutch. An exhaust would be cool. Not a necessity though. And then I think just wheels. Still very undecided on that one. But my thing, the thing that I've been kind of mulling over in my head if it was a good idea or not, or if it would be a good idea, is someone like a Cherubies or Safari tanks or whatever bringing out or a standard fuel capacity plastic tank. That way you don't have 6 gallons and making it more top heavy when it's full. But you have the standard amount, but it's made of plastic, so it takes off some weight. And geez, and shit, they can even make it like how Safari Tanks has theirs, to where it has little winglets. Where some of the capacity comes up in front of the side fenders. And you can even lop some of it off from the top. Like, I feel like that would be awesome, because I don't ride all that far. I usually just do day trips, and when I need extra capacity, I have a fuel bladder, so I could just strap that on and then use that when I need, and then when I'm done using it, then I have even less weight to worry about, and it's not as bulky. So yeah, I mean, that's maybe like a dream list or something right there. I think that'd be pretty cool to have. But yeah, other than that, this bike is great. I'm pretty happy with it, and it is a very solid choice of a very solid pick for the bike that replaced my 890. And again, I'll tell that story when I figure it out, or figure out what to say a little bit better, because there's just so much crap, and I was definitely not happy with how KTM was handling my issue, nor the lack of contact and control that KTM has over its dealerships. Yeah. But, yeah. Anyway, different story. But I think I might go mess around in this little area a little bit, and catch y'all later. Peace.